You ever find yourself just staring up at the stars and feeling completely awestruck? Or maybe you've questioned something that, I don't know, everyone else just seems to accept. Well, if you have, you've already taken your first step into the world of philosophy. So today, we're going to unpack a user's guide to one of humanity's oldest and most important journeys.
All right, so we got to start with the big one. What even is philosophy? And here's the cool part. Just by asking that question, you're already doing it. Philosophy is this amazing field that is constantly looking at itself in the mirror and asking, what are you?
So instead of trying to nail down one single perfect definition, which honestly is kind of impossible, we're going to look at all the different ways you can come at it. Think of them as different doors you can use to walk into this incredible house of ideas.
And that's really the key, isn't it? Philosophy isn't about finding some final answer tucked away in a textbook. Nope. It's all about the process, the investigation itself. It's the journey of asking questions, building arguments, and thinking really, really hard about the world and our place in it.
So here are 6 different paths we can take. We can check out the huge questions it asks. We can dig into its origins. We can work on developing the right mindset, understand the kind of answers it's looking for, think about why it even matters, and of course, learn its history. They're all just different keys to the same building. Let's start with where it all begins. And for a second, forget about dusty old books. Philosophy kicks off with something deeply human, something we all feel.
This just says it perfectly. Philosophy isn't some highbrow academic thing. It starts with that natural sense of wonder we're all born with. It's that feeling a little kid has when they just keep asking, why, why, why? It's that spark of pure astonishment you feel when you face a real mystery.
If you look back in history, this sense of wonder first led us to create myths, these amazing, powerful stories that gave meaning to a world that was, well, pretty mysterious. But over time, a huge shift happened. We started a more rational search, looking for explanations that were based not just on stories, but on logic, on evidence. And right there, that was the birth of formal philosophy.
But you know how it is. As we get older, life, routine, social pressures, they can all kind of dull that astonishment. The world can start to seem ordinary. We just stop asking why. But then, every now and then, something, a crisis, a piece of art, a new discovery, can just jolt us awake and light that philosophical fire all over again.
So if that fire gets lit, how do you actually do philosophy? What's in the toolkit? Let's take a look, because it's a lot more practical than you might think.
It really just boils down to these 3 core attitudes. First, questioning. You have to be willing to challenge things, even your own beliefs. Second, critical thinking. That's the skill of taking an argument apart to see if it's actually solid. And third, reflection. Just having the patience to sit with a complicated idea and really think it through. These are the essential tools of any philosopher.
And the engine that powers all of these tools is rational thought. This is all about searching for order and consistency, for principles that hold true everywhere. It's what lets us build strong, solid arguments, moving logically from one step to the next, instead of just shouting our opinions.
Okay, so we've got the origin story and we've got the toolkit. But you might be thinking, what's the point? Why does any of this actually matter in the real world? And that brings us to maybe the most important question of all. What is philosophy for? It's for this. Philosophy is about taking those tools, the questioning, the criticism, the reflection, and aiming them squarely at the biggest, the messiest, and the most important questions of being human. Questions like, what is truth? I mean, really, how do we know what we think we know? And how can we ever be sure?
What is justice? How should we build our societies? What do we actually owe to each other as people?
And yeah, of course, the big one, what is the meaning of life? Is there a point to all of this? And if so, how are we supposed to live?
You know, really wrestling with these questions has a huge payoff. It sharpens your mind like nothing else. It makes you a better, more engaged citizen. It's the foundation for pretty much everything. Science, art, ethics. It teaches you to understand other people. And maybe most importantly, it helps you understand yourself.
So, I'll leave you with this. We all fall into that sleep of the ordinary sometimes, where we just stop asking the big questions. So what is it for you? What experience, what idea, what mystery has the power to wake you up and make you wonder again? Because finding that, that's where your own philosophical journey begins.